Well, welcome to another video in our series. In this section of the series, we are going to take a look at the lower wall framing for our two-story home addition. So let's go ahead and zoom in on the front wall. This is going to be the front door. And in some sections of the framing, I am going to use a strap instead of notching the top plate into the other wall framing. And you'll see more about that here in a few seconds. And another thing, I am not going to pour the concrete slab until the project is almost finished because I don't want it to get scratched or damaged in any way while we're building the home addition. And that might be something you need to consider when doing a project like this also. And for the reason why I am putting the strap here, if you have existing framing plates with a break about 4 feet long and you're going to notch the framing plate in and have it sit on top of the existing wall, then you're going to end up putting two straps, a strap here and a strap here, instead of one strap here. So again, another thing to think about. However, your engineer might want it done differently, or you might need to use a larger strap, or even a different type of building hardware. Next up on the tour will be the framing for the stairway that will need to be cut into the existing wall framing. And then these walls were added along with this wall over here. And we will be going over that in another video. And the stairway will have 4 steps going up, 9 steps coming down, and finishing out about here. And here we have the same problem, so I'm strapping it here. I'm about 4 foot 3 inches from here to here, which would allow me to overlap the top plate and connect it to the existing wall. However, if I was to notch the plates here so that this framing plate could extend over like this one, then I would have to add a strap over here. And of course, this might not be that big of a deal. You add one strap here or you add one strap here. Next up, let's take a look at the shear wall. And the entire exterior of this wall will get shear panel, and you can always choose to nail the straps over the shear panel, which is what we're going to be doing with the lower straps. So shear panel here, and then along the front. And I'm also going to have shear panel on the top. So we're going to tie everything together. And of course, I will provide you with more information on that in the future videos. And if you remember from our foundation video, we have anchor bolts 16 inches on center along with our straps for the shear wall. And over here we have our straps, and they will be tying into double studs, and we have 2x6 over here, which will provide us with a little wider look, kind of a detail that I chose for this, along with the fact that 2x6 are a little stronger than 2x4s to support the weight above. And if you notice here, I needed to epoxy in a hold down here, and of course I had to do it on the other side also, so that we could add shear panel to this area here, this area here, and this area here. And I did need to make the garage beam a little larger. Took out the 4x12 and put in a 4x14. And even though I could have stopped the beam right here, I ran it through so that I could get a nice connection. We're going to put a long strap on the front here to connect these two beams together along with this framing plate. And this might not be something that your engineer is going to require, but it would be something that you could do to make the home a little stronger. So again, we have a continuous plate here and then the strap to connect this wall to this wall. And I do understand that some of this stuff doesn't make sense, but it will later. And when I am completely done with the series, you could always go back and watch it. I have a playlist for the series that you should be able to find in the video description box of every one of the videos. So next up, let's go ahead and take a look at what I needed to do to fur out this part of the framing. Since I have a 4x beam here sitting on top of 2x6, I needed to fur out this section of the wall 2 inches. And of course, I needed to do it for the entire inside of the area, or in other words, for most of the perimeter of the inside ceiling. And of course, you could do this a variety of different ways. In this video, we will be taking a look at the sheathing and the second floor wall framing. However, before we do that, I wanted you to take a look at the joists and give you an idea where they lap to provide you with an idea of where we're going to break the sheathing. So every 4 feet, here we have 12-inch on center joists, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. And here we have 16-inch on center joists with one spaced at 16 inches, 32 inches, and then 48 inches. And if you lay out the floor correctly, then you won't have much of a problem with your floor sheathing. And with the price of floor sheathing being ridiculous, and who knows what it is when you're watching this video, it could be $400 a sheet. And like most things, we will deal with that when it happens. Now you can see here where the breaks are lining up. However, I have a break here that is not going to be lining up, and that's because of a toilet. And I'm going to have the same situation over here. So I've got a couple of breaks that line up, except this one doesn't. And another thing you will need to think about when installing all of your floor sheathing. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the wall framing. We are going to start with the front wall here, along with the channel, 3 studs to make the corner. And here, let's not forget that if we have an opening larger than 5 feet, then there's a good chance you're going to need double trimmers. So we have a full length trimmer and then a trimmer that we can pull and move if needed when we set the window. And then, of course, our bathroom window here, and then the window for our master bedroom. And the next wall we will be taking a look at over here is not going to have a window in the bedroom over here. And let's not forget, when you're designing a bedroom and you're looking for places to put the windows, to always think about where the bed is going to go. So the headboard of the bed is going to go up against this wall with 2 small tables on each side of it there. And then the window for the bathroom, along with the medicine cabinet here. The back wall that will be part of the exterior and part of the interior. The stairs are going to be going up right here and into this opening here. So here we have the opening for the stairs, and you're going to need to make sure that you always have enough headroom for the stairs. And to finish off the exterior, we will take a look at the walls forming the outside of our other bedroom, and then the window that we will use for it, along with the channels here for our closet walls. And of course the wall in the other bedroom. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the closet for this bedroom. And of course, since this is a non-load bearing wall, we are not going to need double trimmers here. And in some cases, you might even be able to get away with a 2x4 header. And this should give you an idea of how we have centered the door in between the outside of the closet. And this could be another problem you could run into. I've seen people center the doors on the inside, and that might not be that big of a deal for most of us, but it could be a big deal for those perfectionists. And of course, the wall separating the bathroom from the bedroom, and this will be the wall that will have most of our plumbing in it, along with another medicine cabinet. Next up, let's take a look at an inside view of the window here with the walls in place, along with the bathroom window centered in between the 2 walls, and of course the master bedroom window. And the wall framing studs are going to be 16 inches on center, and of course keep in mind that the spacing can be a little shorter, it just can't be a little longer on the load bearing walls. Next up, the door going into the master bedroom, and then these 2 doors going into each bedroom and our hallway. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the master bathroom. That is going to have a medicine cabinet on both sides of the vanity here. And of course, this is where our sink is going to be for the bathroom. And then here is where the toilet is going to go and the shower. And of course, the pocket door framing. And I would strongly suggest ordering the pocket door and measuring it yourself to make sure that it's going to fit in here. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at the closet framing, where you can see the header coming into the channel. And of course, supported by a trimmer there. And the trimmer will go underneath the header as the header dies into the flush wall here. Another neat feature in this design for our sliding closet doors. And here you can see how the corner is going to be finished. We're going to miter both of the headers with a 45-degree angle so that they can sit on top of the 4x4 post. And then we will frame this wall so that it is going to be flush also, so that the closet door can close up against a flat surface. And of course the corner framing here, and another view of the pocket door over here with the backing on each side for the drywall. And then the stairway opening here with the header sitting on top of a trimmer on each side there. View of the hallway and the bathroom door with the medicine cabinet. Another view of the bedroom where the door openings here will have the door on this side open up against this wall, along with the door on the other side opening up towards the same wall. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by hitting the thumbs up button or letting us know in the comment area.